Welcome back to Epic English Stories. I'm your host, and today we're embarking on an extraordinary journey that will transform how you see the world around you. Picture this: a single person decides to help someone in need. That one act ripples outward, touching dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of lives. What if I told you that right now? As you're watching this video, 62 million Americans are actively changing the world through voluntary service. What if I told you that somewhere, a teacher is lighting the spark of knowledge in a child's mind, a farmer is growing food that will feed families, or a volunteer is bringing clean water to communities that have never had it? Today's story isn't just about learning English. It's about discovering the incredible power each of us holds to make a difference. We'll explore the heroes walking among us, the volunteers who risk everything to help strangers, the teachers who shape tomorrow's leaders, the everyday people who refuse to let others go hungry or thirsty. But here's my question for you. When was the last time you felt the incredible rush of helping someone else? Share your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and your experience might just inspire someone else to take action. Let me tell you about Maria, a 23-year-old nurse from Boston. 6 months ago, she made a decision that would change not just her life, but the lives of thousands. She packed 2 suitcases, left her comfortable job, and flew 8,000 miles to volunteer in a remote clinic in Guatemala. I thought I was going to help them, Maria told me during our interview. But they ended up helping me discover who I really am. This is the magic of voluntary work. It transforms both the giver and the receiver. In countries around the world, when governments don't have enough resources, volunteers step in to fill the gap. They become the bridge between desperation and hope. Think about this staggering fact. In the United States alone, 62 million people dedicate their time to voluntary work every year. That's nearly 1 in 5 Americans. Among them, 8 million are young people between 16 and 24 years old, the same age group that society often criticizes for being self-centered. Yet here they are, proving that compassion has no age limit. Dr. James Patterson, who has spent 15 years coordinating medical volunteers, explains it perfectly. When young doctors and nurses travel thousands of kilometers to work in hospitals and clinics for months, they're not just providing medical care. They're providing hope. They're showing communities that they matter, that someone cares enough to cross oceans to help them. But volunteering isn't just about dramatic overseas missions. Right in your neighborhood, volunteers are making miracles happen daily. They're reading to elderly people in nursing homes, teaching immigrants how to speak English, building homes for families who've lost everything, and feeding the hungry at local shelters. What's truly remarkable is the ripple effect. When one person volunteers, they inspire others. Children see their parents helping at food banks and grow up believing service is normal. Friends witness acts of kindness and feel motivated to contribute. Communities that were once divided come together around common causes. Sarah Chun, a volunteer coordinator in Seattle, shared this insight. We've noticed that areas with high volunteer participation have lower crime rates, stronger economies, and happier residents. It's not coincidence. It's the power of people caring for each other. The beauty of voluntary work lies in its accessibility. You don't need special qualifications, enormous wealth, or superhuman abilities. You just need a willing heart. Whether you're 16 or 60, whether you can spare 1 hour a week or 1 month a year, there's a way for you to make a difference. Consider the story of Tom Bradley, a retired accountant who thought his productive years were behind him. At 67, he started volunteering to teach basic math to adults who never finished school. I've taught over 200 people in the last 5 years, Tom says with pride. Some of them have gone on to get better jobs, start businesses, help their children with homework. I may be retired from my career, but I've never been more employed in life. The challenges are real, of course. Volunteers often work in difficult conditions, face language barriers, and see heartbreaking situations. But ask any long-term volunteer, and they'll tell you the same thing. The challenges make the victories even sweeter. Emergency situations reveal the true spirit of volunteerism. When natural disasters strike, when communities face crises, volunteers are often the first to respond and the last to leave. They work beside professional first responders, providing crucial support that government agencies simply cannot match in scale or speed. Remember Hurricane Katrina? The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami? The 2010 Haiti earthquake? In each case, while the world watched in horror, thousands of ordinary people dropped everything to help. They provided not just hands and resources, but something equally important: the message that humanity refuses to abandon those in need. This is the volunteer spirit, the understanding that we are all connected, that someone else's pain is our pain, that someone else's joy multiplies our own joy. It's the recognition that the strongest communities are built not by governments or corporations, but by neighbors helping neighbors, strangers helping strangers, and hearts reaching across every barrier to touch other hearts. If volunteering is the heart of service, then education is surely its soul. There's something almost magical about the moment when understanding dawns in a student's eyes, when confusion transforms into clarity, when impossibility becomes achievable, when a young mind realizes it can reach further than it ever imagined. Education is perhaps the most important job on earth, yet it's one we often take for granted. Think about it. Every doctor, every engineer, every artist, every leader, they all started as children sitting in classrooms, shaped by teachers who believed in their potential before they believed in themselves. The journey begins at home, long before formal schooling starts. Parents become a child's first teachers, patiently showing them how to walk, talk, eat, and play. These early lessons lay the foundation for everything that follows. But it's when children enter school that the real magic of education unfolds. Meet Mrs. Rodriguez, a third-grade teacher in inner-city Chicago. For 20 years, she has welcomed children who often arrive hungry, tired, and convinced they're not smart enough to succeed. "My job isn't just to teach reading and math," she explains. "It's to teach them that they matter, that they're capable of incredible things, that their dreams are valid and achievable." School teachers carry an enormous responsibility. They're not just delivering curriculum, they're shaping human beings. They help very young children master the fundamentals of reading and writing, the building blocks of all future learning. They introduce older students to the wonders of geography, history, science, and languages, opening windows to worlds beyond their immediate experience. But teachers don't work alone. Classroom assistants provide crucial support, especially for children with disabilities or learning challenges. They ensure that every child, regardless of their starting point, has the opportunity to learn and grow. Kitchen staff make sure students are nourished and ready to learn. Playground supervisors keep children safe while they play and socialize. Yet despite these heroic efforts, the statistics are sobering. Today, only about 82% of people over 15 can read and write. That means nearly 1 in 5 adults worldwide cannot access the written word, cannot read a job application, a medicine bottle label, or a story to their children. This isn't just an individual tragedy. It's a collective loss of human potential. The journey doesn't end with high school. Colleges and universities represent the next frontier of learning, where young minds delve deeper into subjects ranging from architecture to zoology. Professors don't just teach facts. They ignite curiosity, encourage critical thinking, and prepare students for careers that will shape the future. Consider the Indira Gandhi National Open University in India, with its 2 million students. This massive institution represents the democratization of higher education, making quality learning accessible to people who might never have had such opportunities otherwise. But perhaps the most inspiring aspect of education is the volunteer teachers who work around the world. These dedicated individuals travel to remote villages, inner-city schools, and refugee camps, carrying the gift of knowledge to places where it's desperately needed. Take David Kim, an engineer from Seoul who spends his vacation time teaching English to children in rural Vietnam. "I make more money in a day at my regular job than these kids' families make in a month," David reflects. "But when I see their faces light up as they learn new words, I realize I'm the one receiving the greater gift." Volunteer teachers work in countless ways. Some relocate to other countries for months or years. Others stay local, visiting schools for just a few hours a week to help with reading or mathematics. Many teach their native language to immigrants, helping newcomers integrate into their new communities. The ripple effects of education extend far beyond individual students. Educated populations drive economic growth, reduce poverty, decrease crime rates, and build stronger democracies. When a child learns to read, they don't just gain a skill, they gain the power to change their world. Education truly is a lifelong journey. Even after college, learning continues. Corporate trainers teach workers new technologies and skills. Professional development keeps careers moving forward. The pursuit of knowledge never really ends. It just evolves. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Every teacher, every tutor, every patient parent explaining homework is wielding this weapon against ignorance, poverty, and despair. Food is life. It's that simple. Yet in our modern world, this most basic human need reveals both our greatest achievements and our most heartbreaking failures. Let me take you on a journey to meet the unsung heroes who work tirelessly to ensure humanity doesn't go hungry. Imagine waking up every morning uncertain if you'll eat that day. For over 1 billion people on our planet, this isn't imagination, it's reality. But standing between these hungry millions and starvation are farmers, aid workers, scientists, and volunteers who refuse to accept that anyone should go without food. In the rice fields of Vietnam, I met Nguyen Van Duc, a 45-year-old farmer whose calloused hands tell the story of decades spent coaxing life from the soil. My grandfather farmed this land, my father farmed this land, and now I farm this land, he tells me, surveying his emerald green fields. We don't just grow rice, we grow hope. Agriculture is humanity's oldest profession, yet it remains our most vital one. Across Asia, farmers cultivate vast rice paddies that feed billions. In Europe's golden wheat fields, grain grows that will become bread for tables around the world. North American corn feeds not just people, but livestock that provide meat and dairy products. These agricultural miracles happen because dedicated farmers understand that their work touches every life on Earth. But farming isn't just about staple crops. Farmers carefully tend vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and onions. They nurture fruit trees that produce apples, oranges, and bananas. They raise chickens, cattle, and other livestock, managing complex ecosystems that sustain human civilization. The challenges are enormous. Climate change brings unpredictable weather, devastating droughts in some regions, destructive floods in others. In parts of Africa, farmers watch helplessly as their crops wither under relentless sun. In Bangladesh, rising seas salt the soil, making it impossible to grow food where families have farmed for generations. Natural disasters and conflicts compound these problems. Wars force farmers to abandon their fields. Economic instability makes food too expensive for those who need it most. The cruel irony is that some of the world's hungriest people are farmers themselves. People who grow food but cannot afford to eat adequately. This is where the heroes of hunger relief step in. Organizations like the World Food Program work tirelessly to get food to those who need it most. But they're not just handing out meals, they're teaching sustainable solutions. Dr. Mario Koye, an agricultural specialist who has worked in 15 African countries, explains their approach. We don't just give people fish, we teach them to fish. We provide seeds, yes, but we also provide knowledge. We show farmers how to grow crops that resist drought, how to improve soil health, how to maximize yields with limited resources. Some of the most innovative solutions come from unexpected places. Scientists are developing seeds that can grow with minimal water, perfect for arid regions. Others have learned to create artificial rain by seeding clouds with special chemicals. These advances offer hope for feeding the world's growing population. The fair trade movement represents another powerful approach. Fair trade farmers sell their crops directly to stores and supermarkets, eliminating middlemen who often take most of the profit. This means farmers earn more money, which they can reinvest in better seeds, equipment, and farming techniques. Maria Santos, a coffee farmer in Colombia who joined the fair trade movement 3 years ago, describes the transformation. Before, I barely earned enough to feed my family. Now, my children go to school instead of working in the fields. I've bought better equipment, and my coffee quality has improved. Fair trade didn't just change my income, it changed my life. Volunteers play a crucial role in fighting hunger. Some work directly with farmers, sharing knowledge about sustainable agriculture. Others work in food distribution, ensuring that surplus food reaches hungry families instead of ending up in landfills. Still others advocate for policy changes that address the root causes of hunger. The statistics are both heartbreaking and hopeful. Yes, over 1 billion people don't have enough food. But food production has actually increased faster than population growth. The problem isn't that we can't grow enough food. It's that we haven't solved the challenges of distribution, access, and affordability. Without adequate food and water, people can die in just 4 weeks. But with proper nutrition, they can thrive, learn, work, and contribute to their communities. Every meal provided, every crop successfully grown, every farmer taught a better technique is a victory against one of humanity's oldest enemies, hunger. Water is the essence of life itself. Every cell in your body, every plant in your garden, every animal on Earth depends on this precious resource. Yet as I speak these words, over 1 billion people lack access to clean, safe drinking water. Their daily reality is a struggle that most of us cannot even imagine. Let me tell you about Fatima, a 12-year-old girl in rural Kenya. Every morning before dawn, she walks 4 hours to the nearest well, carrying a heavy container on her head. The water she collects is often contaminated, but it's the only water available. By the time she returns home, it's afternoon, and she's missed another day of school. This is her life, and it's the life of millions like her. Water isn't just something we drink. It's the foundation of civilization. Farmers need water to grow the crops that feed us. Industries require water to manufacture the products we use daily. In our homes, we use water for drinking, cooking, washing, and sanitation. Without clean water, modern life simply cannot exist. The statistics paint a stark picture. While most of Earth's surface is covered in water, only about 1% is usable by humans for drinking, cooking, washing, farming, and industry. The rest is either salt water in the oceans or frozen in ice caps and glaciers. This tiny fraction must support all human civilization and the ecosystems we depend on. In wealthy countries, we take clean water for granted. We turn a tap, and safe, drinkable water flows freely. We use it to water our gardens, wash our cars, and fill our swimming pools. But in many parts of the world, clean water is more precious than gold. Dr. Ahmed Hassan, a water engineer who has spent 20 years bringing clean water to remote communities, puts it in perspective. When you give a community access to clean water, you don't just improve their health, you transform their entire society. Children can go to school instead of walking hours to fetch water. Women can start businesses instead of spending all day searching for water. Diseases that have plagued families for generations simply disappear. The water industry works tirelessly to make dirty water clean and safe. Treatment plants use sophisticated chemicals and filtration systems to remove harmful bacteria, viruses, and pollutants. It's a complex process that requires extensive knowledge and careful monitoring to ensure public safety. But what happens in places where such infrastructure doesn't exist? This is where innovation and compassion converge. Organizations are developing remarkable solutions like life straws, simple devices that can make contaminated water safe to drink instantly. Solar-powered water purification systems bring clean water to villages that have never had electricity. Atmospheric water generators can literally pull moisture from the air and convert it into drinking water. Volunteers are the backbone of many water projects. They work alongside local communities to dig wells, install pumps, and maintain water systems. They understand that sustainable solutions require local ownership and ongoing maintenance. Jennifer Walsh, a volunteer who has helped build wells in 6 countries, shares her philosophy. We don't just dig a hole and walk away. We train local people to maintain the equipment, test the water quality, and troubleshoot problems. The goal is to work ourselves out of a job, to leave behind communities that can manage their own water systems. The health implications of clean water access cannot be overstated. Contaminated water spreads diseases that kill millions of people annually, particularly children under 5. Diarrheal diseases, cholera, typhoid, and other waterborne illnesses devastate families and communities. Access to clean water is literally the difference between life and death. But the impact goes beyond health. When communities have reliable access to clean water, economic development follows. Businesses can operate more efficiently. Tourism becomes possible. Property values increase. Educational outcomes improve because children aren't constantly sick or searching for water. We can all contribute to water conservation and access. Simple actions like fixing leaky faucets, taking shorter showers, and turning off taps when brushing teeth reduce waste and preserve this precious resource for future generations. Supporting organizations that build wells and water systems extends the gift of clean water to those who need it most. The challenges are enormous. Population growth, climate change, and pollution all threaten water security. But human ingenuity and compassion offer hope. Every well dug, every water system built, every life saved through access to clean water is a testament to our collective ability to solve seemingly impossible problems. Water is life, but clean water is dignity, health, opportunity, and hope rolled into one clear, precious drop. Our planet Earth is a miracle hanging in the vastness of space, the only known world where life exists in all its magnificent diversity. For millions of years, countless species of plants and animals have called this blue marble home. But today, this precious web of life faces unprecedented threats, and a new kind of hero has emerged, the environmental guardian. Picture this. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Elena Rodriguez carefully monitors the health of trees that have stood for centuries. These giants are not just trees. They're the lungs of our planet, converting carbon dioxide into oxygen with every breath. When I place my hand on these ancient trunks, Elena tells me, I can almost feel the heartbeat of the earth itself. The interconnectedness of life on our planet is both beautiful and fragile. Every species depends on others in ways we're only beginning to understand. Bees pollinate the flowers that become the fruits we eat. Wolves control deer populations, which allows forests to flourish. Coral reefs provide nurseries for countless fish species that feed millions of people. When one species disappears, the ripple effects can be catastrophic. Yet species are vanishing at an alarming rate. Some scientists call it the sixth mass extinction. Unlike previous extinctions caused by natural disasters, this one is largely driven by human activity. We've altered landscapes, polluted waterways, and changed the climate at a pace that evolution cannot match. But for every problem, passionate people are working toward solutions. Environmental campaigners like Greta Thunberg have inspired millions to demand action on climate change. Local activists fight to protect wetlands, forests, and rivers in their communities. Scientists develop new technologies that could revolutionize how we generate energy and manage resources. The pollution challenge is massive but not insurmountable. Cars, planes, and power plants burn fossil fuels that release greenhouse gases, warming our planet and changing weather patterns in unpredictable ways. Some regions are becoming colder and wetter, while others grow hotter and drier. These changes threaten agriculture, water supplies, and the survival of countless species. However, innovation is rising to meet these challenges. Solar panels and wind turbines now generate clean electricity without burning fossil fuels. Electric cars are becoming mainstream, reducing our dependence on gasoline. Engineers have designed buses that run on biogas made from waste materials, turning trash into transportation fuel. The transformation in energy is remarkable. Just 20 years ago, renewable energy was expensive and impractical for most applications. Today, solar and wind power are often cheaper than fossil fuels. Countries like Denmark generate more than half their electricity from wind, while Costa Rica sometimes runs entirely on renewable energy for months at a time. Individual actions matter too. Every time we choose to walk instead of drive, use public transportation, or bike to work, we reduce pollution. When we insulate our homes, use energy-efficient appliances, and turn off lights we're not using, we decrease demand for electricity. These small actions, multiplied by millions of people, create significant impact. Conservation efforts extend beyond energy and pollution. Protecting existing ecosystems is equally crucial. National parks preserve wilderness areas where wildlife can thrive without human interference. Marine protected areas allow fish populations to recover and coral reefs to heal. Reforestation projects plant new trees to replace those lost to deforestation. After environmental disasters, volunteers spring into action with remarkable dedication. When oil spills threaten coastlines, thousands of people work around the clock to clean beaches and rescue wildlife. After forest fires, replanting efforts involve entire communities working together to restore damaged ecosystems. Young people are leading much of this environmental movement. School strikes for climate action have spread across the globe. Student environmental clubs organize campus cleanups and advocate for sustainable practices. Youth activists challenge world leaders to take bold action on environmental protection. The concept of environmental justice recognizes that pollution and climate change disproportionately affect poor communities and developing countries. Environmental guardians work to ensure that everyone has access to clean air, clean water, and healthy environments, regardless of their economic status. Technology offers hope for addressing environmental challenges. Artificial intelligence helps optimize energy use in buildings and transportation systems. Satellites monitor deforestation and illegal fishing in real time. Gene editing might help species adapt to changing climates or remove invasive organisms that threaten native ecosystems. Despite the enormous challenges, there's reason for optimism. Air quality has improved dramatically in many cities through pollution controls. The ozone layer is healing thanks to international cooperation. Some endangered species have been brought back from the brink of extinction through dedicated conservation efforts. Environmental protection isn't just about saving polar bears or rainforests. It's about ensuring that future generations inherit a planet where they can thrive and prosper. As our journey through these stories of service comes to an end, one profound truth emerges. The greatest force for change in our world isn't technology, money, or political power. It's the human heart moved to action. From the volunteer who travels across oceans to help strangers, to the teacher who sees potential in every struggling student, to the farmer who feeds communities, to the activist who fights for clean air and water. Each person we've met today shares a common understanding. We are all connected, and when we lift others up, we lift ourselves. The most remarkable lesson is how small actions create enormous impacts. A single teacher inspired Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. One farmer's innovation feeds thousands. A volunteer's well provides clean water for generations. These ripple effects remind us that no act of service is too small to matter. But perhaps the most beautiful truth is that serving others transforms the server as much as the served. Volunteers discover purpose. Teachers learn from their students. Environmental guardians find hope in the resilience of nature. When we give of ourselves, we receive back meaning, connection, and joy that no amount of personal success can provide. The world needs heroes, but they don't wear capes or possess superpowers. They're ordinary people who decide that someone else's well-being matters as much as their own. They understand that true strength lies not in what we can take from the world, but in what we can give to it. This is the lesson that transcends language learning, cultural differences, and national boundaries. Service is the pathway to significance, and compassion is humanity's greatest superpower. The stories you've heard today aren't just entertainment. They're invitations. Somewhere in your community, there's a volunteer opportunity waiting for you. They're the child who could use a tutor, an elderly person who needs a friend, an environmental project that needs supporters, or a hunger relief program seeking helpers. Your English learning journey has given you communication skills. Now use them to connect with others who need support. Document your service experiences and share them with our Epic English Stories community. Your story might inspire someone else to take action. If this video moved you, please like it and share it with friends who might need inspiration. Subscribe to Epic English Stories for more tales that prove language learning and life learning go hand in hand. Together, we can create a world where everyone's story becomes epic. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to make a difference. You just have to begin.